Continue the conversation, though, with Congressman Peter Roskam, a Republican from Illinois' 6th District and a member of the House Ways and Means Committee. He joins us bright and early out of Washington this morning. And Charles Campbell from Miller-Tabak is also still with us. Congressman, just want to get your quick reaction to the latest news out of the ECB.
Well, look, I think that there's a great deal of concern. How that is reflecting here in the United States is yet to be seen, but I think there's a great deal of concern about the banking sector in the U.S., particularly in light of the latest conference committee report that has come on the financial services issues. I think that there's been a lost opportunity in the U.S. to take on a Depression-era regulatory regime and try and update it to a 21st century model. And I think what you're seeing coming out of the majority in Congress is sort of underperforming in that way. And the same folks that missed the 2008 market crash, mispredicting that, really are going to be re-empowered in some ways, and there's been not much change. So I think there's a lot of disappointment coming out of Washington.
A lot of disappointment, especially when you hearken back to the 1930s with cutting budgets and raising taxes. Is this recipe for a very, very slow recovery?
This is a recipe for an incredibly slow recovery. If you look back in the 1930s, you saw that there were two American presidents that really made three big mistakes. Herbert Hoover decided to raise taxes, or to get into ultimately raising taxes. FDR got into spending, and the two of them decided to move forward in more less robust trade opportunities and almost a protectionist mentality. And those three things really moved an incredibly deep recession into a depression. Now fast forward to 2010 and look at what we're hearing ultimately. We've got taxes that are going up in Washington, D.C. We're halfway through the tax year. I serve on the Ways and Means Committee, which has jurisdiction over taxes, and the tax code for the U.S. is completely ambiguous right now. As some folks, business leaders, have told me, look, uncertainty is actually worse than bad news, and there's a great deal of uncertainty coming out of Washington, D.C. Capital is still on the sidelines, and folks don't know whether to get in or to get out. Now, a little bright spot on the horizon is some sense of change that we see, and rhetorically at least, coming out of the administration as it relates to trade. Today I'm going to be working with a bipartisan group putting together a task force to move forward on the South Korea-U.S. free trade agreement, which is a good thing and a powerful thing. So trade is a way for us to move forward. I think the administration so far has been rhetorically giving it lip service and has underperformed. Here's an opportunity for them to move forward and lead on the Korean FTA. But also remember, there's Panama and Colombia that are still in the dock that have not been addressed by the administration.